Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here, and welcome back to the continuing deep dive into the depths of Shadows of Brimstone. And now we are moving into the expansion territory. And the first expansion we're going to be looking at is the Frontier Town expansion. This expansion has got to be one of my favorite all-time expansions for any game. The amount of game this adds to Shadows of Brimstone, to one of the Western core sets, is just, it's unparalleled. And I say that without implying that the core sets feel incomplete without it, because I don't think they do. I think they do feel like complete games. You know, they are basic, but they are complete games. But this just adds a whole other layer, a whole other element to the game. And I can't imagine playing without it. Even so, even when I'm playing with the Forbidden Fortress set, I typically will use the Forbidden Fortress as just another other world for my characters to explore, so I can continue to use this frontier town. In my Shadows of Brimstone games, there's a portal between the east and the west, you know, signifying that connection between the samurai and the cowboy mythos and film and cinema. But the Frontier Town expansion, here's the back of the box. This says, towns on the Old West frontier are full of danger and adventure around every corner. The Frontier Town expansion allows players a deeper and richer town experience between adventures, adding exciting new types of towns to find, such as plague towns, outlaw towns, or mutant towns. 6 all-new town locations to visit, such as the street market, the sheriff's office, Indian trading post, or smuggler's den, a new expanded travel chart, and a deadly new ranged enemy, Bandits. So when this came out, ranged enemies were actually kind of rare. I don't think there were any ranged enemies in the core sets. And that was kind of a big misstep, I think. With this expansion, heroes also have the opportunity to play out adventures in the Frontier Town itself using the new Town Adventure board. Heroes can protect the townsfolk while battling demons in the streets, have a shootout with bandits trying to rob the local bank, or find themselves in a duel at high noon. With loads of new charts, cards, counters, missions, and new bandit enemies, you'll never know what to expect when you ride into a frontier town in Shadows of Brimstone. And there is a listing of the contents, and you have your display of cards like they always do on the backs of their boxes. So yeah, super, super great expansion. Set up right now, I have the town board, which is really cool. It's a nice size. It's not huge, but it's not too small. And it just adds so much flavor with the different stores that you can go into. And we'll take a little bit more of a closer look at that in a minute. So let's take a look at the adventure book that this does come with. So again, you're going to get your typical Flying Frog Productions layout with your game contents, your overview. You know what I just have recently realized is that none of these Shadows of Brimstone manuals have tables of contents or indexes. But you know what's weird? I never really feel like they need them. I mean, they should have them. All the rule books should have a table of contents and an index. But things are typically laid out in a logical fashion in Flying Frog Games rule books. So it's usually pretty easy to find the things you need. But the kind of stuff you're going to get your town board, you're going to get some new cards, new locations, new enemies, new missions, unwanted attention markers. You're going to get these location tokens for when you build out your town, and we'll take a look at those in a minute. You're going to get some shootout markers, and those are used to mark the targets that ranged enemies will have. Some town folks tokens. I don't have either of these set out right now. Some new side bag tokens. A devil's wheel token, which is kind of a almost a dexterity luck type gambling game that you can play in the saloon, I believe. Some prisoner tokens, money bag tokens, a gallows. And then you also get some horse and a carriage here. These are just used in the missions. I will usually pass these horses out when we buy them to the different players when we're playing the game. So you can have a little horse mini. So one of the main things is you're going to have your expanded town. And the expanded town is really, really cool. So you do have these new town sheets. You have your new town rules that go over all of the new things that you're going to be facing in the town. You're going to be drawing unwanted attention, to which you can become wanted, and then the towns are more dangerous. The campsite that you used to just stay at for free is actually now another location that you can visit. And it has its own location event chart and its own things that you can do. One of the things that you can do is you can have like back alley surgery, really dangerous surgery at the campsite that's cheaper to, you can choose an injury, a mutation, or a parasite you want removed, and you can roll on the chart. It's cheaper than going to the doc's office, but you can get killed, butchered, or failed, or a success. So it's just a little more risk-taking to go have surgery at the campsite. And there's also a church tent. So it's cool. They just turned one of the non-locations into a location. So the thing that's really different about visiting a town now with this expansion is when you are going to town, you're going to choose if you're going to a small, medium, or large town. And you will have this little town map here that's going to have your locations. And then what you would do is, depending on, let's say you were going to a medium town, just like in Shadows of Brimstone or Warhammer Quest and Darklight Memento Mori, the smaller towns you have fewer travel hazards going to. The larger towns you have more travel hazards going to. So it's a little more dangerous pushing on to a larger town. But when you decide what kind of town you wanted to go to, like let's say you wanted to go to this medium town here, you would have 6 different locations. And each of the locations now comes with one of these large tokens. And so what you would do is just shuffle these up, and then you could draw this token, the tokens, to see which locations are available in the town you are going to. So if you were going to this medium town, you would have a frontier outpost, a mutant's quarter, a smuggler's den, a blacksmith, a street market, and a sheriff's office. And so you never really quite know what kind of locations each town is going to have. So that's really cool. Now, one thing we started doing was keeping a persistent town list. So we could revisit a certain town by going back to it. The Hexcrawl fan expansion, which we are going to eventually take a look at, kind of codified that into a much more robust system, and I always play with that when I play Shadows of Brimstone. So just a really cool way of adding some more variety to your towns. The small towns have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus a campsite. The medium towns will have 6 plus a campsite, and the large towns will have 8 plus a campsite. And some of the new locations, you have the Indian Trading Post. There you have your event chart. You can go see a tribal medicine man. You can go on a vision quest. And then on the back here are other things you can buy, the things you can purchase and upgrade. And then you also have a tribal or scout heroes can go to the tribal tent and they can take advantage of some special items there. Then you have a street market with your event chart there, some of the things you can purchase, your back alleys, other things you can purchase, and even more. You can purchase hats, horses, clothing, ornate pistols, butcher's blade, and a red dragon injection. So lots of interesting things can be found in the street market. This is a cool location. You have a mutant quarter, and you can add one when rolling to avoid unwanted attention here. You're going to have a really interesting event chart to roll on, and then all kinds of cool things. Mutant surgeon, you can choose a mutation to have removed. You can meet with mutant revolutionaries. You can visit a mutant prophet, and then you can buy those items listed there. And then you're going to have a new gambling hall with its own location event, some special things you can open or purchase. You can buy fancy clothing. And then you can also gamble here. There was one error there that I had to correct with a Sharpie. You can play Devil's Wheel, which is the game that uses this little token and the box lid, interestingly enough. And then some other things you can do at the gambling hall. And then you also have a sheriff's office. Outlaw heroes may not visit the sheriff's office. Probably not too smart if you're an outlaw going to the sheriff's office, but you can go there and get wanted posters and bounties. You can take a sheriff's bounty. You can pay off your warrants, or you can collect a wanted poster. If you are a law hero, you can go there and take advantage of those special services and items. Join a manhunt, escort a prisoner transfer, Peacekeeper's pistol, the Punisher, it's a big shotgun, and you can buy different badges that will give you different bonuses. Along with any hero can participate in those items up there. And then finally, for the new locations here, we have the Smuggler's Den. And law heroes may not visit the Smuggler's Den. So if you're an outlaw, you can go here. You have your location event, your different purchase items. There's another back alley doctor, some black market goods. And then if you are an outlaw hero, you can take advantage of these special services and items. You can join a bank heist, rustle cattle, have shady contacts. You can buy an outlaw pistol, a sawed-off shotgun, and some outlaw clothing, as well as any hero who can participate in those items above. And then you have your regular items, which are town locations, which we have taken a look at before. Now, one thing I do have is I got this, I believe, from Board Game Geek. The main Shadows of Brimstone page is still, I believe, the City of Ancients, because that's the one that comes up first in the listing. So that one, I think, has the most robust files section. At least that's how it used to be. This is a town visit sequence of play. When you are using this new town expansion, you have a certain number of things that you need to do. So like after a mission, you reset to full health and sanity. You reset to 1 grit. You count your Darkstone and Darkstone icons. Roll for corruption hits so you can become corrupted. You can visit a small, medium, or large town. Add travel hazards based on the size and then resolve. So this tells you how many travel hazards you will resolve. And then you want to roll for your town type. Now, town type is another new thing that this expansion adds. Another really cool thing. One of my favorite things. I cannot wait to see what they come up with for the Forbidden Fortress. But you have this chart here. It's a 2d6 chart. If you roll a 6, 7, or 8, you're just going to go to the standard frontier town that we are accustomed to. But if you roll any other number, then you will have to visit one of these special towns. The town setup is the same, but then you just add this new card on top of it. It adds extra elements. It adds extra charts to roll on. It adds new threats that you will have to face, new items you can buy. So you have a haunted town, a mining town, a mutant town, town ruins, a plague town, a rail town, an outlaw town, or a river town. And so just to give you a couple of examples here, let's take a look at the mining town. So the mining town, Boomtown, often springs up practically overnight in an area found to be rich in gold and darkstone. These mining towns attract folk from all over, eager to find their fortune. So this town is well supplied. It has rich local deposits, lots of void activity. And then you're going to have your daily events where you're going to have to roll on a D6. Darkstone explosion, darkstone overflowing, blast mining accident. We found something strange, dust, and it came from down deep. And then extra options. You can purchase darkstone here, and you can purchase mining tools. Then in the haunted town, some towns have a dark history that they never can truly escape. In some cases, this shadowy past comes back to haunt them. So there are angry ghosts here, and you can break the curse. You will have another daily events chart here. You can get possessed, a moving sail, vicious specters, sickly mist, warnings from beyond, and weeping statue. And extra options. You can buy cursed artifacts. Limit once per stay. There are plenty of folks in town that want to sell off old items they believe to be cursed. You might be able to find quite a deal. Besides, what are the chances that the curse is real? The chances are very high, let me tell you. But just, oh man, this is so cool. It adds so much flavor to your town, your settlement part of your game. Really creates it, or molds it into kind of its own game. So after you figure out your town type, you will gain, if you have too many mutations, you will gain unwanted attention, and then you resolve a daily event card. So now every day you have to draw one of these random daily event cards. They will range from good to bad to nothing, like a normal day, just another day in the frontier. But there are all kinds of different things that you will have to face. Sometimes it'll raise prices, sometimes it'll lower prices, sometimes people will attack you. Yeah, just all kinds of really cool things that will make your stays in the town more and more exciting, more dangerous, more deadly, and more fun. Speaking of those, I did just take advantage of the sale on the Flying Frog Productions website. The buy 2 supplements, get 1 free. And I did just get this new pack of Frontier Town Daily Event Pack number 1. So this is going to add some new cards to this deck. Now, as you can see, Shadows of Brimstone is one of the only, I think one of 2 games that I have sleeved. I started sleeving, and stupid me, I started sleeving in the premium sleeves. I'm not quite sure why I did that, but now I have to kind of continue the practice because I have so many cards sleeved. So I am going to have to buy some more sleeves for these cards. But this Rolling Tumbleweed, every hero may heal up to 2 sanity. You have 4 of those. And then you have Lux in the Air, Dead Man's Curse, Old Prospector, A Wealthy Widow, Crisp Morning Air. All heroes may make a Spirit 6+ check. For each 6 rolled, you may remove 1 corruption point. That's cool. Runaway Cart, Fire in the Camp, Lurking Evil, Killer on the Loose. Wow, that's a card full of text. A No Good, Very Bad Day. Immediately roll once on the town event chart. Do not reset the darkness marker on the town event track for this. That can be really deadly. And a Derailed Train. So yeah, all kinds of new cool options to explore in the town. Sometimes no event will happen, and then you can choose to stay at a hotel or the campsite. Resolve unwanted attention. Depending on what happens with that, you will either gain some damage or gain an unwanted attention. Roll for your event, visit your site. You can leave town or start a new day, which then you go back to your daily event. So really nice handy chart to keep track of your town stays. And then it goes in through how to play the Devil's Wheel gambling game. And then you learn a little bit about Bandits. You learn about the new shootout mechanism, which does add some new strategic and tactical decisions on the board. It makes combat a little more advanced. You have to learn a little bit of like a miniatures war game, some tactical positioning to play on this map, because you can shoot out from windows. You can pretend that you are on the rooftops shooting down. So there are a little things to take into consideration now when you are having battles in this town, which is kind of nice. You could almost play like a little Western skirmish game on this map. So that's pretty cool. And then you're going to get 6 new missions. Shootout in the streets, hanging high. This is cool. You have a little setup like somebody's about to get hanged, and you have all your townsfolk out there watching the public execution and some bandits scattered around. Very thematic this is. A bank robbery, a jailbreak, town overrun. This is a really fun mission where monsters start pouring into the town. It's almost kind of like a tower defense type mission. And High Noon Duel. This is a solo. This is like you have one character versus one enemy. And then finally you have your expanded travel chart, which is a D36 travel chart. So a lot more options of things to face while you are traveling to town. Still not a ton, but excuse me, it is more. And finally, we will take a look at the Bandit. So the Bandit, this is a new enemy that you will be facing. You can face these at any time. It comes with threat cards to add into your decks. They have shootout ability again, so they are ranged weapons. They come with their standard size and their brutal side. And sometimes they will be part of infamous bandit gangs. And when you are told to do that, then you have, 5 different gangs that the bandits can be part of. So these are kind of like those enemy trait cards. And these are going to give the bandits different properties. They're going to augment them. They can be part of the Fallen Angels, El Tijones Desperados, the Death Dealers, the Hitchcock Gang, or the Brimstone Devils. And this is the official mini. I think you get 6 of these in the expansion. And then it's also a good opportunity to use some of your Reaper Chronoscope minis. So I have a few of these outlaw bandits that I use just to add a little bit of variety. So yeah, that was a look at the Frontier Town expansion, one of the all-time great board game expansions. If you don't have it and you have other stuff for Shadows of Brimstone, I highly recommend it. And I think, like everybody, we are just greatly anticipating the Feudal Village expansion, hopefully coming this year. All right, guys, well, hope you're enjoying this series on Shadows of Brimstone, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.